Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you.
Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm doing All My Loving by the Beatles. To me, this is a perfect early Beatles song. Just a 2-minute burst of energy with an innovative chord progression and an undeniably catchy melody. It's so fun to play and sing. Let's jump in. Alright, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description. That'll help you follow along and see where the chords and the lyrics line up with one another. Speaking of chords, here are the chords for the verse, and the song starts just by jumping straight into that first verse. For the first line, we've got an F sharp minor. So I'm doing an inversion on it here. We've got an F sharp in the left hand, and then A, C sharp, and F sharp in the right. Next, we've got a B. So I was using my 5th finger here. I'm gonna come to my 2nd finger here on B in the left hand, and then just a root position B major chord, B, D sharp, and F sharp. Then coming up to an E major chord, using my 1st finger in the left there. And once again, this is an inversion. We got a B, an E, and a G sharp. And then finally for this line, we've got a C sharp minor. The right hand is already doing 2 of the notes we need. I'm just gonna take my 1st finger and move it up to C sharp. And then probably with my 3rd finger, you could use 2nd as well. I'm gonna do a C sharp in the left hand. And so those are the first 4 measures. We're in 4/4 time, so every measure in this song gets 4 counts, and we're counting really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just for starters, I might just pulse quarter notes in the right hand for this first line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I definitely like 2nd finger for that C sharp. So coming into that 2nd line, we've got an A major chord. Gonna come down to an A bass note here. We're gonna do an inversion in the right hand. We're actually keeping those 2 notes from the C sharp minor, although I'm gonna use my 2nd finger on that E. So C sharp, E, and A for a measure. Then we're gonna kind of hop back down to the F sharp minor we started with. And then we've got this D major chord. The right hand's in a really convenient spot. The outside notes are what we need, but we want a D in the middle. So I'm gonna come up to my 1st finger there, and A, D, F sharp. And then finally we've got a B7. So we need to come to a B bass note. Notice my right hand thumb is gonna stay on this A. So we've got an A, a D sharp, and a F sharp. Just want you to notice this is exactly what we did for the B in the first line, except instead of doing the B, I'm doing the A to get that dominant 7th chord. And I just want to mention, in these 4 lines, we're gonna do B chords 3 different ways. But if you wanted to keep it simple for yourself and just do the same thing for all the Bs, the Bs and the B7, I would do the B7 the way we just did it. It still sounds good in the first line on close your eyes and I'll kiss you instead of that, but the way I'm showing you is just a little bit more accurate to John's guitar on the recording. So here's what we have so far. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then, okay, so the 3rd line is just like the first line. While I'm away, I'll write home every day, and okay. So for the last line, we go to the A, just like we did at the beginning of the 2nd line. Send all my, and then here's the 3rd B inversion, lovin'. So we're just inverting up the root position B we did before. It's D sharp, F sharp, and B. It just has that kind of brighter sound where it gets up to that high B, and that's what John's guitar does. But like I said, if you want to go from the A just to the B7, it still sounds great. No one's gonna notice. And so after that B, lovin' to you, we get to the E, and it's on E, two measures total, but when you get to the second measure, you can just hit it once and stop for the rest of the measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'll pretend. That would be looping around to the second verse, and the second verse is the same thing, just different words. All right, so I'm gonna just add a little bit more rhythm in my left hand to bring the energy up a little bit. The recording is so energetic. I mean, John Lennon is just strumming 16th notes the whole time, which is too heavy-handed on piano. You'd have to be like, close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Doesn't sound very good, but we want some more energy. So I'm going to start thinking in eighth notes, so dividing the beat in half, not just thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, but thinking about the space in between the ands, the upbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's swung eighth notes, which means it's not perfectly divided. It's not just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're kind of thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just feeling it like that. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. You'll get the hang of it. And in addition to hitting on beat 1, like I've been doing, I'm going to hit on the and after 2 and the and after 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and that would be going to a new chord. So that last and 1 goes quickly to the next chord. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 of course, if this is too tricky to coordinate while you sing, you can skip it. Still sounds good. The ends of each section where you have the 2 measures of E are really cool on the recording, and I'm going to do even more rhythm there. I might just go back and forth on eighth notes on the E until we pause the beginning of the second measure of E. So like the last line here would be, and I'll send all my loving to you. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. I might even 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1 hit down low octaves. Maybe even once I'll do the 1, 2, on 16th notes. So if you can do it, you can just kind of go nuts with that part and just end strongly on beat 1. So I'll play around with different ways to do it when I do the full playthrough of the song. Okay, so next up is the chorus. The chorus is really short. Here's the chords for that. It's just these 4 measures repeated twice. Let's just go over the chords before we talk about the rhythm. So I'm going to do the C sharp minor. Well, it's just like we were doing it before. Root position C sharp minor, then a C augmented. It's really easy to turn this chord into C augmented. Just both those C sharps, we're just gonna flat down to C naturals. And then that's a very smooth transition to the E major there. So those are the only chords. All my love in 2, 3, 4, I will send to you. 2, 3, 4, and another measure of E, 3, 4. Now, you totally can continue to do the rhythm we're doing in the verse. Sounds good, and it's not too tricky to play. All my lovin' I will send to you. All my... On the recording, it sounds a little bit more like this. All my lovin' I will send to you. All my lovin'. So, for this version of the rhythm, I'm going to switch to just pulsing on the quarter notes in my left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in my right hand, I'm going to hit on counts 2 and then the and after 4. So thinking in the eighth notes again. So here's all the counts for that. The left hand, like I said, is pulsing on each of the counts. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, you need that swing feel, so it's not 1, 2, 3, and 4, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. Long, short, long. All my lovin' I will send to you. All my lovin', darling, I'll be true. That right hand rhythm is hard to coordinate and play at the same time. It's kind of a lot to think about, so you'll need to practice it until it becomes muscle memory, and you don't have to think about it. But if that's too tricky and you want to switch up the vibe from the verse, you could also just pulse, sort of staccato, quarter notes with your hands together. All my lovin'
I will send to you.
I think that sounds really good as well. So coming out of this first chorus is where things start to get a little complicated if we want to reproduce the recording with the guitar solo and everything. So I'm going to give you an easier option. But first I want to just give you the little bass line that leads into the solo section. And this is another thing that you can take or leave. But at the end of the chorus, when you get to the last measure of E, after hitting the chord on beat 1, we're going to do N 2, 3, 4. So quick E here, then an E an octave lower, then F sharp, G sharp. And that's 1 and 2, 3, 4. So just an eighth note on the and, 1 and 2, 3, 4. So the last line of the chorus would be, all my loving, darling, I'll be true. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so here are the underlying chords for this solo section, and I'm going to give you a version without all the fancy right-hand solo stuff. This will be kind of the foundation, and you can keep it just to the chords and it'll sound good. We've got a measure of A7, going to do it like this. Of course, A here. We got C sharp, E, G, and A. If that is a lot for your right hand, you could just pick and do 3 of those notes. We don't really need the A there, but it's nice for accuracy. Then 2 measures of E, just like we did it before. An F sharp minor, just for a measure like we did it before. A B7, like we did it in the second line of the verses, and then back to E. If you're doing this easier version where you don't play the guitar solo, maybe you have a guitar player to do the solo, so you just want to hold down the accompaniment. I'm going to do the same rhythm I did in the choruses. Again, you could do the verse rhythm, but I would keep doing that 1, 2, 3, and 4. 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 And, you know, you can do those extra things. Maybe 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Close your eyes, going into the last verse. So here are the notes and counts for the first 4 measures of this guitar solo section. And you see we've got those pickup notes there, the E, E, down arrow there, just so you know it's not the same E, but an octave lower. E, E, F sharp, G, 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then you can see the A's there, just pulse on the counts, 1, 2, 3, 4. That happens for 2 measures. But let's focus on the right hand, and I've highlighted which counts you hit these right hand. It's a lot of chords or just 2 notes at a time. On the second count of that measure, we're going to hit that A7 just like I told you. Again, you could drop that top A if you need to. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So on the and after 4, we're hitting just the bottom 2 notes of the same chord. We don't need to move the hand or anything. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that right hand hit is between 2 of the left hand A's. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're gonna move the right hand up to do a E and a higher C sharp here. So we're just kind of stepping down here. The lower melody is E, D sharp, C sharp. The higher melody is C sharp, B, A. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I like 1 and 5, and then maybe taking over 1 and 4. It could be 1 and 5, 1 and 4, 1 and 3, or you could just hop 1 and 5 if that is a little simpler for you. Next we come to the measures where E major is the underlying chord, and what we play here is just the same E chord we've been doing all along. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So on that and after 2, we just omit the G sharp and do the bottom 2 notes. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, this next measure is the same rhythm and just same general idea as the second measure was, but yes, of course, the notes are different. E and B, A and D sharp, G and B. Da, da, da. Sort of interesting sounding there, but 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, I'm gonna do that whole line again and then we can wrap it up. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, here are the final measures of this part. So of course we're going down to the F sharp, and on that we're just gonna land in that same F sharp minor inversion we did, and that's all your hand needs to do for the whole measure. We do that same rhythm we just worked on, the 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and all you do is just on the middle chord you omit the F sharp. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The ear latches on to the highest notes you hear as a melody. So even all you're doing is taking that away. You kind of hear it as da, da, da. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, one more measure of the complicated stuff. We're gonna go up to a B bass note here, and then we've got F sharp and C sharp. Once again, same underlying rhythm, and we're gonna go back and forth between the F sharp and C sharp, down to the C sharp and A, and back to the F sharp and C sharp. And you can finger that a few different ways. You could just hop your hand, or you could get a little fancier here, maybe do 2 and 5, 1 and 3, 2 and 5, so you can just kind of step between them smoothly. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then there are 2 more measures left in this section, but it's just going to the E. So I'll probably just go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I might even do and 1 with some octaves down there. And that would be leading into the final verse. Before we finish up this song, let me just play through that whole solo section a little bit slowly. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Close your eyes. So that's going into verse 3, and actually I didn't play that the way I'm going to, because for this last verse I'm going to do octaves in the left hand, raise the energy a little bit. This is where that harmony comes in. If you love the way these octaves sound, by the way, you could do them for all the verses. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. So I'm adding just a little bit of extra, like not always hitting the octaves together, maybe doing 1, 2, and you can hit just the top note together. And it also sounds good to do like a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Like anticipate a little bit. Don't worry if that is confusing, but it's the kind of thing that you can throw in if you hear it. All right, so after that verse, we have another chorus. It's just like the first one, and just to note that if we are doing octaves in that last verse, I'm going to strip it back just to the single octaves in the left hand when we get to the chorus, just so it feels like the energy gets pulled back a little bit. So we've got those 2 lines of the chorus, the second line of which sounds like, oh my lovin', darling, I'll be true. And then we're going into the outro, oh my lovin', oh my lovin'. So this is, I'm gonna keep doing the same rhythm. Whatever rhythm you're doing, just keep it up. Here's the chords for it. It's basically one more chorus with more sort of ad-libbed vocals, but the C augmented is replaced with just a second measure of the C sharp minor. So you just stay on the C sharp minor. Oh my lovin', ooh. Can't really pull off the Paul McCartney vocals there, but I'll try. And then I will send to you. So just another one of those E things there. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. That's how I'm gonna do it, but you could also just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Something like that, but the song is now over. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to play the whole song all together so you can see how all these parts that we just talked about fit together in the complete song. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Okay, here is my version of All My Lovin'. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day, and I'll send all my loving to you. I'll
pretend that I'm kissing the lips I am missing and hope that my dreams will come true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day and I'll send all my loving to you. All my loving I will send to you. All my loving, darling, I'll be true. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll write home every day and I'll send all my loving to you. All my loving I will send to you. Oh, my loving, darling, I'll be true.